fair amount of drugs, marijuana, magic mushrooms, cocaine. I mean, that kind of surprised people.
But important to acknowledge.
That shouldn't affect him too much, but it just shows he's a very stupid man. Because there's so many instances. I mean, one of the things that he's been complaining about.
Magic mushrooms in California.
You idiot.
Prince Harry's name is trending once again, but this time, it's not for anything noble, according to multiple insider whispers and underground chatter. Something deeply disturbing just happened behind the gates of Montecito, while the palace remains eerily silent. What's leaking out is enough to leave jaws on the floor. Allegedly, Harry was found unconscious in his California home, and this wasn't some random fainting spell. It's being linked to heavy drug use. What makes the situation even more shocking is that Meghan Markle was reportedly nowhere to be found. Instead, she had allegedly left the house to party with her inner circle at an exclusive members-only club while her husband was being rushed to the hospital. Here's where things get even messier. According to sources close to the royal protection detail, it was Harry's longtime bodyguard, David Langdown, who discovered him. Langdown isn't just another hired security guard, he's a decorated former Scotland Yard officer who's been close to Harry since the early 2000s and even received a medal from the late Queen herself. His role has always been to keep Harry safe, and this time he may have saved his life. Rumors about Harry's involvement with drugs have circulated for years, but this incident feels different. It's more serious, more alarming, and if these whispers are true, this could mark a dangerous turning point in the Duke's increasingly fragile life.
Fair amount of drugs, marijuana, magic mushrooms, cocaine. I mean, that kind of surprised people.
But important to acknowledge.
That shouldn't affect him too much, but it just shows he's a very stupid man. Because there's so many instances. I mean, one of the things that he's been complaining about.
Magic mushrooms in California.
You idiot.
This wasn't just a wild night out or some blurry Vegas-style memory. According to reports, Prince Harry was found fully unconscious and had to be rushed to a California hospital in what sources claim was a serious medical emergency. He was allegedly in recovery for several hours before stabilizing. What's even more shocking is that the people who should have been there, especially Meghan Markle, were nowhere to be found. Instead of staying by his side, Meghan reportedly bolted from the scene almost immediately, allegedly to build an alibi. And that's not speculation. Witnesses claim she was spotted at an exclusive members-only club the very same night, laughing and socializing like nothing had happened. But this isn't just about one bad night. There's a much darker thread running through this story, because if even a fraction of these reports are true, then Harry has been quietly spiraling for years and no one in his inner circle, not even the palace, has stepped in to help. Royal biographers like Penny Junor, who have studied and documented the royals for decades, have long hinted at Harry's troubled past with substances, a history that stretches back well before Meghan ever entered the picture. Let's rewind. In the early 2000s, whispers began circulating that Harry was experimenting with marijuana and alcohol. But this wasn't typical teenage rebellion. According to insiders, things escalated quickly into harder drugs, blackouts, and serious concern among royal aides behind the scenes. And instead of facing consequences when his behavior got out of hand, Prince Charles reportedly tried to contain the chaos by building a private nightclub inside Highgrove. Yes, literal nightclub within palace walls, as if that was going to fix anything. Even more disturbing are the resurfaced accounts from 2007 that describe Harry doing things most people wouldn't even believe, like snorting vodka. Not drinking, it's snorting it. And no, that's not some reckless college prank. Medical professionals say that this method forces alcohol directly to the brain, bypassing the liver and increasing the risk of instant death. And yet, back then, the media barely covered the story. Why? What was being protected? And at what cost? This wasn't just a rough night gone wrong, it was a full-blown emergency. Reports claim Prince Harry was found unconscious in his California home, not from exhaustion or illness, but allegedly due to heavy drug use. He was rushed to the hospital and stabilized only after hours of recovery. While this was happening, the one person you'd expect to be by his side, Meghan Markle, was reportedly seen partying at an exclusive members-only club, laughing it up with friends like nothing had happened. Sources allege she left immediately after Harry was found, not in panic, but to build an alibi. And that word alibi is what's catching fire behind palace walls. This situation isn't just about one night of chaos. It points to a long, disturbing pattern, one that royal insiders, biographers, and protection officers have quietly known about for years. Prince Harry's struggle with drugs and emotional instability stretches back to the early 2000s. Biographer Penny Junor and former palace staff have hinted at his substance issues for decades. What started as teenage experimentation with marijuana and alcohol allegedly escalated to harder drugs, blackouts, and full-blown addiction. In one bizarre attempt to contain the problem, Prince Charles reportedly built a private nightclub inside Highgrove to keep Harry's parties behind closed doors. Unsurprisingly, that only masked the chaos instead of solving it. Some of the older stories now resurfacing are truly shocking, like Harry allegedly snorting vodka in 2007, not drinking it. That's not just reckless. Medical experts say that kind of behavior can be lethal, but at the time, the press barely covered it. Why? Because News of the World, one of the few tabloids that dared to go there, was shut down over a completely different scandal. And after that, most other outlets stayed silent. Meghan Markle's name, however, keeps surfacing in the worst ways. According to insiders, she hasn't just been aware of Harry's addiction, it may have been enabling it. Some even claim she's used drugs as a way to control him, keeping him dazed, dependent, and easy to manage while she shapes the narrative. It's a chilling accusation, but one that's not entirely out of left field. Long before she became a duchess, Meghan had already built a reputation in certain Hollywood circles not for acting, but for her party lifestyle. Guests at her first wedding in Jamaica allegedly received gift bags with hand-rolled joints inside. Some attendees reportedly didn't even realize what they were carrying until they were back on US soil, a stunt that could have landed them in serious legal trouble. And then there's Doria, Meghan's mother. She's kept a low profile in public, but insiders claim she has a history of involvement with California's underworld and may still have ties to less than clean circles. Whether true or not, the whispers in royal circles suggest that both Meghan and Doria have always known how to get what they need on, how to keep people in line. The darker theory is that Meghan isn't just tolerating Harry's downward spiral, she's actively facilitating it to maintain control. What makes this even more disturbing is the number of people who knew. From palace insiders to veteran royal reporters, nearly everyone seems to have a story about Harry's wild behavior, drug-fueled rants, emotional breakdowns, and violent outbursts. And yet, every time a story was about to break, it would magically disappear. The palace PR machine would roll out a charity event or military appearance, and suddenly Harry was rehabilitated in the public eye. There's even a buried tabloid clipping about Harry allegedly inhaling an entire canister of laughing gas during a hospital visit, a substance that's heavily regulated and only meant to be used by doctors. No one asked how he got it. No one investigated. Then there's his military service. Despite the discipline and structure of the army, rumors persist that drug tests were quietly avoided or falsified. One palace staffer even claimed Harry was flown out of base the moment a surprise test was announced. Another source alleges a disturbing incident involving both vodka and cocaine during his time in the military, yet again, it was swept under the rug. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at a man in deep crisis. Meghan is allegedly creating alibis, the palace is panicking, and the press, unless its fluff, remains silent. Through it all, one man has never walked away. David Langdown, Harry's longtime bodyguard and former Scotland Yard officer, the one who found Harry this time, and he may have saved his life. Langdown has been there since the early 2000s. He's seen it all from the Vegas years to the current Montecito mess. But even he might not be able to stop what's coming, because this isn't just about an overdose. This is a long collapse, a tragic unraveling hidden under years of palace protection and PR spin. Everyone involved, those who enabled Harry, those who stayed silent, share some level of blame. That's why the palace is so rattled. When a royal spirals, it's not just about the headlines, it's about the legacy. And Harry isn't just a rebellious prince. He's a man who was never allowed to truly heal, raised in an institution that valued image over wellness, and now teetering on the edge of something far darker than a bad press cycle. According to insiders, King Charles was personally notified the moment Harry was admitted to the hospital. There was no official statement, no press release, but phones rang all night in London. The royal machine didn't scramble to help Harry, they scrambled to contain the story. Because if this explodes, it's not just Harry who burns. It threatens the entire narrative they've spent years building now. All eyes are on Meghan. If the rumors are true, and she really did flee the scene the night Harry was found, the palace will not forgive her. Her absence paints a picture not of a supportive wife, but of a calculated one. The word circulating behind palace walls is chilling alibi. She didn't run in panic, she ran to be seen, to create distance from a disaster she may have known was coming. And suddenly, Meghan is no longer just tabloid fodder. Senior officials have reportedly reopened old files, reviewing events from the past 5 years with fresh scrutiny. They want answers. Did she isolate Harry from his family on purpose? Did she facilitate access to drugs? How involved is Doria? Did Meghan build an ecosystem around Harry that ensured his dependence? Nothing is proven, but the fact that these questions are even being asked says everything about how serious this has become. Behind closed doors, legal teams are preparing not for divorce, but for the public fallout. Because if Harry doesn't recover fully, or worse, if he chooses to speak, everything could collapse. And through all of this, one painful truth remains: Harry is not well. Whether it started with his mother's death, childhood trauma, teenage rebellion, or adult betrayal, he is a man drowning in pain. His life has been turned into a spectacle, a Netflix special, a memoir, a paparazzi-feeding frenzy. But behind the flashing cameras and palace walls stands a wounded soul who never got the help he needed. That is the real tragedy. Not the headlines, not the scandals, but the human cost of being born into a family that buried its emotions in protocol and chose control over care. Now, that decision may be coming back to haunt them.